Hello everyone, welcome to my channel JD's Guidance. In this video, we are going to see the capital market line. So, capital market line is discussed in connection to the risk return, especially of a portfolio. So, let us begin. Let's start. So, we are going to discuss about the something called capital market line. Okay. But before I explain you what is a capital market line, it is important that you have the concept of efficient frontier, because the understanding of capital market line requires us to know what is efficient frontier. So very quickly we will see what is efficient frontier, and then we will relate efficient frontier and capital market line. Let's start. Suppose we are talking about portfolio. So you know what is portfolio? Portfolio comprises of combination of securities which have different risk return characteristics. So if you don't have the basics, do not worry. Let us see. Suppose I have some portfolios A, B, C, D and E. Okay, so these portfolios are different from each other. Why they are different? Because portfolio A will consist of some risk and return which is different from portfolio B, which will be different from C, D and E. That means what I want to tell you is that each portfolio consists of some distinct risk return characteristics. For example, I am saying it is the portfolio return. So I am writing the expected return of the portfolio. Suppose A has a return of 2.10, B has a return of 3.15, 4 has a return of C has a return of 4.05, this one has 5.11, this one has this. So you can see that A, B, C, D, E are different because they earn different returns. Okay. Also, you know that each portfolio will have a different risk, okay, denoted by standard deviation of the portfolio. In my last video, I have already given you an understanding about what is risk and how do we calculate risk. So, standard deviation as represented by sigma is a measure of risk. So, the risk of this portfolio, suppose it is 1.80. Risk of this portfolio, suppose it is 2.11, this is 3.505, this is 4.17 and suppose this is 5.60. So what you can see that each of these portfolios, they are different when it comes to returns and risk. Okay, for example, A consists of less return and less risk, whereas E consists of maximum returns and maximum risk. Why it is so? Because you all know that risk and return, they go hand in hand. As you take more risk, there will be more returns. They are directly related to each other. Now, as an investor, suppose I am saying that you have this list of portfolios, and I ask you which one is the most efficient portfolio. If you tell me it is E, then I may argue with you that why E is giving you more return, but the risk is also high. Or someone will say A is the best portfolio, but I will again argue that it is having less risk, but the return is also low. So in that case, what we have to do? We have to discover an efficient portfolio. When I say efficient portfolio, you have to understand what is efficient. When I have used the word efficient, what does this mean? Remember, any investor takes risk with an expectation that he will earn more return. I will take risk because I want to earn more return. So when I say efficient portfolio means a portfolio which gives you the maximum return, at the least possible risk. Any portfolio will carry risk, but you want that taking that amount of risk, you must get the maximum return. Okay, but if an investor is taking risk but considering the amount of risk, he is not getting the appropriate amount of return. Suppose I have taken some risk, suppose my risk is high, so my return should also go high. So if I see that the return is not going that high as compared to the amount of risk I am taking, then I will say that the portfolio is not efficient. Okay, so if suppose I have another portfolio, suppose it is F, and suppose the F gives me 6.01 return and the risk is 4.10. You can see that E and F, both of them give the same return. but the risk is different. You will see portfolio F consists of less risk as against portfolio E, which carries more risk. Okay, so in that case I will say between E and F is efficient, E is not. Why? Because E could give you 6.01, but this return F is also giving with a less amount of risk. Or if you see that there is another portfolio G, okay, which gives you the return as it gives you return, suppose it gives you return at 7.01 and the risk is 4.10. So I can see that F and G both give the same amount of, carry the same amount of risk, but the return in case of G is higher. So I will say G is more efficient. So what am I doing? I am trying to get the maximum return with the lowest, as low as the risk should be as low as possible. Okay, so that portfolio, for example, if I compare E and F is not an efficient portfolio because I could have earned 6.01. Sorry, F is an efficient portfolio because I can earn 6.01 with just 4.10 amount of risk, but E is earning me the same amount with a higher degree of risk. Okay, so this is the concept of like the efficient portfolio. Now I have to take you to the concept of efficient frontier. Now if you are an investor and you are given this portfolios and you know that you want to get the portfolio which gives you the maximum return with the least risk. If I plot it graphically, so if I plot it graphically, because when I say it is a frontier of course will represent some graphical, it will represent some graphical presentation. I mean it can be represented graphically. So if I represent it graphically, so let us see how it looks like. Now when I plot it, suppose this side is the risk as represented by portfolio standard deviation and this side is the return. Okay, I represent it as ERP, expected return of the portfolio. This is my OX axis and this is my OY axis. Now I just want to tell you that if you scatter the points like this, ultimately you will find that there is a frontier, okay, or there is the curve will look like this. Okay, I mean the frontier will look like this. It may go this side also, but I am just taking like this. Just I want to give you the concept. Suppose I write the points, these are imaginary points A, B, suppose this is C, this is D and this is E, for example. Okay, if I have taken this in my last example A, B, C, D, E, so these are the points I have A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so now I am telling you that if you observe, you find that A has some risk, okay, and it has some return. B has some risk, B gets some return. Similarly C, D, E, they all have some combination of risk and return which are different from each other. You will not find that E and D will have the same risk return. C will also not have the same risk return. Okay, they will be different either in terms of risk or in terms of return. Now just want to explain you that suppose I am trying to find out which one amongst these points are efficient and which one is not efficient. Suppose I take the point A. You can see that point A is not efficient. Why? Because if you extend it downward, it gives you a return of OM. Okay, sorry, it takes a risk of OM. B takes a risk of ON. So which one is taking less risk? Obviously B is taking less risk. Coming to return, A is earning a return of OP and B is earning a return of OQ. Which is earning more return? B is earning more return. So you can say that A is not efficient, B is efficient. Why A is not efficient? Because with more risk, it is giving me it is giving me lesser return as compared to B, which takes less risk as compared to A. If A gives me more return with that amount of risk, I will not consider to be inefficient. But A is giving me lesser risk as compared to, A is giving me lesser return as compared to B. So if A would have given me more return, I would not have considered A as a inefficient. But since A is taking more risk but giving me less than the return as that of B, I will say it is inefficient. Let us see B. Yes, B is efficient. What about C? C has this much risk, this much return. Okay. D also has this much risk, this much return. So C, D, they are efficient. Okay. What about E? I will say E is not efficient. Why E is not efficient? You see, E is taking this much amount of risk. Say for example, I am writing OK. OK amount of risk. If you extend it this side and just make it touch on the frontier, there is another point, say this is called OL. So sorry, it is called L. So you see, L is also taking OK amount of risk and E is also taking OK amount of risk, but L is giving such a high return. You see, L is giving high return, but the point E is giving me lesser return. So what you can see, K and L, both of them have taken the same amount of risk, but the return is high in case of L, but it is less in case of E. So E is not a efficient frontier. Okay, so we could discover that point A and E, they are not efficient. Why? Either they are taking more risk and giving lesser returns, or they are taking the same risk but giving returns lesser than that of any other points on the efficient zone. Now I am telling you efficient zone. What does this mean? Now you see, when the curve is like this, if it is like this, you will find that the points which are this side, they are inefficient. The points which are this side also inefficient. Why? Because the only points which are here, they are efficient, but the points which go either this side or that side are less efficient. Why this side less efficient? This side is less efficient because you are taking the risk. Okay, you are taking the risk. Okay, the same risk is taken by a frontier by a portfolio here, but it gives you more return and this gives you lesser return. That's why the point below this is not efficient, above this is also not efficient, above this is not efficient. You can take the example of A, why it is not efficient. So an efficient frontier will be consisting of all those portfolios. If this is your north, this is south, this is east and west, so those points which are in this zone, they are efficient, other points are not efficient. Okay, so if I have to draw a efficient frontier, it will look like this. This is your portfolio risk. Sorry, this is the standard deviation of the portfolio and this is the expected return of the portfolio. So this is OX and this is OY. Now what I have to write? I have to draw a efficient frontier. So the efficient frontier will look like this. Okay, so it starts from the point, say for example, it is having the point B and it comes down and reaches CD. Suppose it is at the point D. Okay, so this is my efficient frontier. Okay, any point here will again be inefficient, any point down here will also be inefficient. So efficient frontier looks like this. Okay, remember this is the points, these points are the point, this gives you maximum return. I am just connecting those points, those 2 points which gives me maximum return and that point which has minimum risk. Okay, so you find that this is the point which has minimum risk, this is the point which has maximum return, and therefore this connecting these 2 points, we call it efficient frontier. Okay, now I have to take you to the concept of capital market line. For understanding capital market line, now I have explained you very nicely, I'm sure, that what is an efficient frontier. Efficient frontier consists of all those portfolios which gives you the optimal combination of risk and return, the best possible combination of risk and return. Okay, now taking you to the concept of capital market line. Now for understanding capital market line, you have to first understand something, that when it comes to investment, an investor has 2 alternative investment avenue. I mean, an investor can go for 2 types of assets. One is called risk-free assets. He can invest in risk-free asset, whereas other one is the risky asset. Okay, risky asset, or we call it market securities, or we can call it market securities. Okay, you can invest in risky assets or market securities, or you can invest in risk free assets, because investors are different. There are some investors who do not want to take risk, so they will invest in risk free assets, whereas there are some investors who love to take risk and they will be investing in risk free assets, and some combine some money here, some money there. Okay, now you listen carefully that when you invest in risk free assets, you get some return. Obviously you will get return, and that return is denoted by RF, which is known as risk free return. This is the risk free return. I denote it by RF. And when you are investing in market securities, okay, you are getting a return called RM. This is called, or when you are investing in risky securities, this is known as market return. That means what is the return when you invest in risky asset or market securities. So RF and RM is understood. Now you see, when your investment is in risk free assets, means you are not taking any risk, so generally the return will also be low. But when you are taking risk, your return will be high. Okay, so suppose in the market you are getting 5 rupees, so you must get more than 5 here. Okay, so you get 5 plus you have to get something extra, so suppose 2, so that means you are getting 7 rupees from the market. So any investor should get minimum what investors can get out of risk free assets, and over and above that you must earn something called premium. This is called risk premium. Okay, because you have taken risk, so you are earning some extra, that is known as risk premium. Okay, so suppose in the market if you are getting 4 rupees and risk free you are getting 5 rupees, no rational investor will invest in market securities. Why? You are taking risk, and after taking risk you are getting less than what you can get in the risk free assets, so therefore you will never invest in the market. So that is why generally it does not happen like this. Generally the returns from the market is higher than that of the risk free return. So that's why when you are taking risk, you have an expectation that if risk free return earns you 5 rupees, so since you have taken risk, you must earn something over and above this. Okay, given this concept, why over and above? Because I have taken risk, so 2 rupees makes me happy. If I don't get 2 rupees, then I am upset. What for? I have taken the risk. Without taking risk also I would have earned 5 rupees. Right? So 2 makes me happy as an investor. More the premium, more I will be happy. And when this will be more? When you take more risk. Okay, so you can divide the class of investors. A high risk taker, he will be getting more premium. A low risk taker will get a low premium. A moderate risk taker will get a moderate amount of premium. Okay, given this concept, now I give you the equation of the capital market line. Okay, so equation of the capital market line is expected return of a portfolio. What you earn from a portfolio is minimum that the risk free return that you should earn, that 5 rupees you should earn, plus over and above that you must get something called risk premium. That 5 rupees you must get, and you must get something called risk premium. Now what is this risk premium? Okay, risk premium will be represented by lambda. I'll explain you what is lambda. Okay, just now I said it is 5 rupees here, and I want to get some premium, and I told you that premium will depend on how much risk you are taking. Okay, because I told you that 5 plus 2 makes me happy, because 2 is my premium. Okay, now this premium will be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 depending on how much risk you are taking. Okay, so similarly this premium will be more depending on which portfolio you have selected and what risk that portfolio carries. So standard deviation of the portfolio. Suppose I want to know for security D, so I will multiply by the risk of that portfolio D. If I have to know for B, I have to multiply by the risk of the portfolio B, because how much risk I have taken into the risk premium, that will give me what is the returns that I am getting from the market. Okay, so 5 rupees is something which I get for sure, and over and above I must get something extra, because I have to be happy that I have taken risk, I am getting some extra premium. Okay, so now let us understand what I have written here. So I have written lambda times the standard deviation of the portfolio. Okay, how much portfolio risk is there, multiply with that premium factor, you will get the total returns that you get from the market. Now what is lambda? Lambda is nothing but it is reward to risk ratio. Reward to risk ratio. What is reward? Reward is that you have taken some risk, for this you are to get some reward. Now what is reward? Reward in this case is RM minus RF. What is RM? In my example 7 rupees what I get from the market, and what is RF? The 5 rupees which I get from the risk free assets. So this is my reward, and since it is a ratio, it has to be dependent on something, divided by something. Divided by what? Risk. Which risk? The market risk. Suppose I told you RF is the risk free and RM is the market securities. In the market there is no risk here, but in the market there is some risk. So you have to find out in the market what is the risk, and I am writing here standard deviation of the market. So I am telling that in the market, if the risk is 10 rupees, the premium is 2 rupees. Means for every 10 units of risk, okay, for every 10 units of risk you get a premium of 2 rupees. Okay, for every 2 units of risk you get a premium of 2 rupees. That means your return is 0.20. Okay, so that means for one unit of risk 20 is your 0.20 is your returns, I mean premium. Okay, for 10 risk you get premium 2 rupees. So multiply by how much risk that portfolio carries. Okay, that portfolio carries some risk, you multiply with the premium factor, this one. And what is this factor? What is the premium? You get the rate of the, I mean the market rate is 7 rupees and risk free is 5 rupees. So this is your premium. So you divide by the market risk is 10. That means for every 10, 2 is my premium. So for every 10, 2 is my premium, multiply by the risk of that portfolio. So this is known as this equation is the equation for the capital market line. Okay, now if I have to show it graphically, and I told that efficient frontier is necessary to understand capital market line. So you see, suppose I am saying that there is a risk free return. So suppose the risk free return in my case is 5 rupees. So I am writing RF. RF means risk free return, which is 5 rupees. Okay. Now, if I invest all my money in risk free, suppose I invest all my money in risk free assets, so there is nothing invested in the market, so 0. So this will become 5 only, 5 plus 0. But what happens if I have invested in the market securities? So I must get 5, over and above that I must get some premium also. Just now I have told I must get 5, but I should get something more from the market also. So what is that more? So now you see, if I take some risk, suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, these are what? These are standard deviation, 1 standard deviation, 2 standard deviation, 3, 4, 5. For example, B carries 3.2 standard deviation risk, D carries 2 standard deviation risk. Now suppose this is 5, means even if risk free return 5 will remain 5 irrespective of this risk. Why? Because it does not depend on risk. Risk free return of 5 rupees do not depend on risk, because it is dependent on other factors but not on the risk, because it is risk free. So it will remain constant for any amount of risk. If you talk about 5 standard deviation risk, it will be risk free return will be 5 only. It is not affected by the amount of risk. So it will start from a fixed point. Suppose it is 5 rupees. 5 starts from here. Now suppose an investor is investing in risky assets. Remember, this efficient frontier is a frontier for risky assets, for market securities. Okay. Now suppose an investor wants to take risk of 1 standard deviation. Suppose he wants to take risk of 1 standard deviation. So what he will do? If he takes 1 standard deviation risk, he must earn 5 rupees, but over and above he must earn some more. He must earn some premium. So suppose he gets 5.7. So there is a premium, 5 minus 5.7. He gets 0.7 as the premium. Suppose he takes some more risk, suppose 1.5 amount of risk. So he gets some more return. Suppose he now gets 6.01 return. Again he is earning some premium, okay, because risk free return is this much. So he gets a premium of this amount, okay. Again suppose he is taking some more amount of risk. Okay, if he takes some more amount of risk, he will again earn some more premium. For example, he gets now 6.15. so again see 5 rupees and 6.15, so this again there is a premium. So that means as he varies the risk degree, as he moves this side, his returns also increases and consequently the premium also increases. Okay, so that means as you move beyond this risk free rate and start taking risk, as you take more and more risk, you will find your returns are also increasing because you are getting some premium, that this part is increasing as you take more and more risk. This part remains the same because 5 is guaranteed, over and above you get something extra also. Now if I have to simplify this, we are almost coming to the end of the discussion. If I have to simplify this, suppose this is my efficient frontier, it starts from A and say suppose it starts from point B and ends at D. Okay, and this is my portfolio standard deviation and this is my expected return of the portfolio. This is my OX axis, this is my OY axis. Now what happens, this is my risk free return RF, which is 5 in my example. Now what happens, the investors will vary the degree of risk, they will go for some degrees. Suppose, okay, as you go this side, more risk you are taking, obviously your returns will also increase. So what you can do, you can go for combinations like this, like this, like this, like this, and you will move up like this. Okay, so this line shows as you take more and more risk, this line shows that your returns are also increasing. You see, the returns are also increasing. Okay, so more risk you are taking, the returns are also increasing. And remember, you are always given a fixed rate of 5 rupees. 5 rupees return is assured because you are taking risk. So minimum what the risk free return gives you, you must get this. Now what I do, as an investor, I combine, and then if you combine the points, you will find there is a straight line. Sorry, there is a straight line. Just 1 minute, because of obvious reasons I am not able to draw the diagram properly, not able to draw it properly. Just giving you the understanding. Okay, so this is your point B and this is, for example, this is your point D, and this is you are combining, and then this line goes off like this. This is a straight line. Okay, I'm sorry, my line has not become very straight. So the point of tangency where this touches, there is a minimum point where it touches. For example, it touches at point E. This line is known as capital market line. What this shows? This shows the combination of the risk and return with different degrees of risk, the returns, okay, and the risk-free returns being assured. You are given risk-free rate and over and above the premium varies. This line is known as the capital market line, and the point of tangency means where it cuts. This is the point where it cuts the efficient frontier. This point is the most efficient portfolio. This is the most efficient portfolio. Okay, and why it is most efficient portfolio? I am trying to make the diagram as perfect as possible, but I am unable to do because of obvious reasons that I am drawing it on the board. Had it been in a paper, I would have done it properly. Okay, so remember, this is touching at the minimum point, so it should go like a straight line. Okay, though it is not looking like a straight line. So this point of tangency, if it is a point E, this is the efficient portfolio, and remember at this point you have maximum lambda. The lambda is maximum. Okay, and this lambda is also known as the Sharpe ratio, SHARPE, Sharpe ratio, and about this we will have another video about Sharpe ratio, what it says. So what is Sharpe ratio? It is nothing but the reward to risk ratio, and at point B you have the maximum, the risk and reward ratio, reward to risk ratio. You have the maximum reward to risk ratio. At this point you have maximum reward to risk ratio. Okay, so the straight line which cuts this point, this is the efficient portfolio, and at this point you have maximum reward to risk ratio, and this straight line is known as capital market line. Okay, so remember, capital market line tells you the risk return relationship of efficient portfolios, unlike security market line, because security market line talks about securities whether efficient or inefficient, but capital market line talks about the risk return relationship. Here is the portfolio risk and this is the expected return of the portfolio. This talks about the risk return relationship of efficient portfolios. Okay, so with this I have come to the end of the discussion. Do comment in the comment box for any queries you have, and maybe with the straight line I would have made you understand what is the capital market line, but it is necessary that I introduce you the efficient frontier. Thank you for watching and please subscribe my channel. Thank you.